Peace and good morning to you. It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. It is December the 29th, um, last few days of the year. It's winding down uh, rather quickly. Um, but hey, it's these last few days is going to do what it's going to do. Right? So there's really nothing you can stop. Like whatever's going to happen in these past few days is just going to happen in these past few days. Um, so acknowledge what you want out of the past few days of 2022. See it for itself. Design it how you want to design it. Like, what do you want to close out? What are you willing to commit to? What conversations you need to have? What things do you need to write down for yourself? What situations have you endured throughout the year? Let me put the caption up real quick. So it's an open question, open dialogue. What have you endured this year? Maybe you lost a loved one. Maybe it didn't work out like you had hoped this year to work out. But that's where your honesty come in. Like, if it didn't work out, okay, now what? But there's a process now that you take. There's a process now that you are going to go through, from an honest perspective. But it's all up to you. Completely up to you. Like, what do you want to do with the information that you have? What are you going to do with the information that you have accumulated throughout the years? If there's 365 days in this year, you only have a few days left of this 365 days. Like, how are you going to design it? How are you going to use the information that you've gained throughout the year to close out this year to be as strong as you can be before you begin a whole nother chapter? Or is it going to be the continuance of a chapter that you started this year alone? That is only something that you can deal with for you. Yes, you can try to bring in a lot of other people, sit down and have these conversations and stuff like that. But at the end of the conversation, it's still going to leave you with the ultimate decision on what am I going to do and what do I choose to do with what I have right now. So the choice is yours. Like, what are you really going to do with what you have? All right. So what we're talking about today, well, let me go back. Good morning to you. Let me start like I always start, in a spirit of gratitude, just saying thank you for being here in this space. We are alive and well. We can see us. We can see each other. So I thank you for being here, because you don't have to be here. You can be doing anything else at 7:30 in the morning, but you're right here with me here at Consistency is Currency. Like I always say, your morning podcast of choice. And thank you for tapping in, because this is going to be, today is going to be good. Right? Today's going to be interesting. The conversation is going to be interesting, but really just make this conversation very interactive, because I want to learn from you, and I want you to be able to tap in and learn a little bit of something about me, or something from me, because we're talking about the power of long suffering. The power of long suffering is just learning more about it today. It really put me in a different place and space at the same time. Peace. Good morning, Miss Anderson. And just the power of longs, just saying it itself just sounds like You got work to do. Just listen to it. The power of long suffering. It's not something that happens in a moment. This is something that happens continuously. But what do you do when it happens? That's when you begin to plug in to your God sense, or you begin to plug in to the energy that you have. You begin to plug in or unplug from things that's not within your favor, or the things that you know that you should not be a part of, that is not being beneficial to the life that you know that you desire to live. The power of long suffering. All right, so just another level of life. I mean, it really is. You know, life has a multitude of levels. Like, really, a multitude of levels. But I think what we do and what we can do when it comes to the multitude of levels of life, the first thing we have to do is recognize where we're at in that particular level, and what our roles and what is our responsibilities in that level, in order for us to, as they say, level up, whatever it is for you, whatever that means to you. Like, where are you at right now in your life? Where are you at right now in your career? Where are you at right now with your passions? Where are you at right now with your desires? That can only come from a transparent space on telling you where you are. Like, life beat us up this year. Like, honestly, as they say, real talk, life beat us up this year. There were people who didn't make it to see today. There were loved ones who didn't even make it to December. There were situations that happened throughout the year that we probably are not proud of, but guess what? You're still here to talk about it. You're still here to communicate about it. You're still here, and it didn't take you out. It may have taken you down, right? It may have taken you down. It might have made you feel a certain way. But after you have felt that certain way, what do you do with the feelings? You take the feelings and you convert it and you put passion behind it, and then you repurpose it. You repurpose it and you allow it to push you in a different way, or even push you in a different direction. But the direction, it can only be sought after by you. Because especially as an adult, you can only give an adult a recommendation, but at the end of the last word of the recommendation, the responsibility goes back to that adult. The responsibility goes back to you. Like, what are you going to do with that level of responsibility? Trusting others is hard. Shoot, sometimes trusting yourself is hard. Like, discipline is a level of trust, right? Discipline is a level of trust that you must have with you. It is a level of trust that you desire to have certain things, or you desire to have certain processes in your life to continue on. But do you have a level of a level of discipline and trust in yourself that is going to work, that is going to work out, that you're going to work on it? Probably should write that down. Discipline is a level of trust that you have to have for yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. And what I want y'all to do is take this live and share it, either on your timeline, or take this live and share it into a Facebook group. Because I think somebody need to hear this, like the power of long suffering. Because the power of long suffering is it can be very painful, right? It can make you feel like the bottom just got taken away from you, and you're falling, and you begin to spiral, and you find yourself in situations that you know you shouldn't be in. You find yourself feeling like you have a lack of desire to do anything else. It's only human for you to feel that way. But what did you do after those feelings have been exposed to you? That's where that long suffering kicks in. All right. So for those who may be new to the platform or not, you're going to get definition of words. You're not going to get the etymology, but you're going to get definitions, multiple definitions of the words, and then it's going to be inverted to give you those definitions in a different light, right? It's going to give you those definitions in a different light. And if there's a light or a something that resonates with you, go ahead and put that something inside the chat, because what I want you to do is to begin to release yourself through comments. And releasing yourself through comments is going to allow you to read it yourself, to understand, like, where was I in my life when this happened to me? Because if you're ever going to break out of something, you have to break into it. Breaking out of the pain must mean breaking into the transparent and acknowledging that it exists. It's just like people who talk about they want to heal, but they never break into what that healing moment looks like. Healing comes after you have broken into it. The pain makes you feel like you're broken, but you got to break into that just a little bit harder. All right, here we go. So the first definition of long suffering, it says having or showing patience in spite of troubles, especially those caused by others. I'm gonna read that again, and I want you to look at it. Long suffering is having or showing patience in spite of troubles, especially those caused by others. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to is patience in spite of troubles. That sounds like that need to have its own platform, its own conversation. Patience in spite of troubles. Let me write that down, because I'll make that tomorrow. Patience in spite of troubles. I like that. I really do. All right. So again, the inversion. I'm gonna read the whole paragraph. I'm gonna read the whole thing, and I'm gonna tap into the patience. All right. Having or showing patience in spite of troubles, especially those caused by others. The inversion is red over white, which is patience in spite of troubles, in spite of the hurt that you've accumulated in these 12 months, in spite of the situations that you found yourself in that you're probably not proud of yourself in being in spite of the tears you've cried, in spite of the moments you wish you can take back, in spite of the words that you said to someone that you know you probably should not have said it, in spite of all of that, patience still must set in. Because it may take patience for you to look at it for something that you need to look at it for itself. Like, you know what? I need to be more patient with my tongue. I need to be more patient when it comes to communicating with people. I need to be more patient when it comes to communicating with myself, because in spite of troubles, there's still a lesson in that blessing that on the other side you can only see. But you got to be patient if you're ever going to get there. You got to be patient if you're ever going to see it. But in spite of the trouble, long suffering is still there. Like, there's healing in spite of the troubles. In spite, like, no matter what, in spite of the troubles, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to my destiny, because I desire the destination even more. But in spite of the troubles, that's how you get there, no matter what. And the second definition of long suffering, it says patiently enduring lasting offense or hardships. Patiently enduring lasting offense or hardships. And the inversion on this is white over red. Patiently enduring lasting hardships. Like, have you been patient um, this year, or have you been impatient? I mean, that's something that can only be answered by you. I mean, not me. All I can do is exercise my responsibility in asking those questions, but allowing you to see it for yourself. Like, have you been patient enough this year in order for you to endure the lasting hardships? Like, you've made it this far. Do you have the endurance to continue, hell, even to close out this year? I mean, you only got a couple more days. It's the what, 29th? But do you have the endurance to continue what you started? That's like another question. Like, a jabber, you got jabbed. Now it's like, do you have the endurance to finish what you started? Patiently enduring lasting hardships. Like the hardships, the song Trouble Don't Last Always. Like, patiently enduring lasting hardships, because the hardship is not always going to be hard. The hardship is actually going to allow those lessons to be learned even the more, because you're patiently enduring the hardship and the process that you've taken that brought you this far in your life, or that brought you this far in this year alone. And the next definition of long suffering, it says to stoically put up with discomfort, trouble, or other people's bad behaviors. Like, again, you can't control someone's bad behavior. You can't control someone's jacked up regiment. You can't control someone's level of discipline. But a lot of times people try. Like, I don't choose to control your behavior. I can identify with some behaviors, but that doesn't mean I have to accept it. So to stoically put up with the inversion on this is white over red. Stoically put up with discomfort. Now, the next one, I'm getting to the definition of stoically, and it's going to tie in, especially when we go from here into the deep dive. So it says to stoically put up with discomfort, trouble, or other people's bad behaviors. That's the third definition of long suffering. But the inversion again is stoically put up with discomfort. Like, Mr. R2, what is stoically? I'm going to tell you. Stoically says without showing one's feelings or complaining about pain or hardships. And the inversion on this is white over red, without complaining about pain or hardships. Because don't you know, sometimes when you begin to complain about the pain or the hardship, it begins to be magnified. It goes times 2 or times 10. Because as the complaints come out and it comes out of your mouth, you begin to give it a different type of life. And then a lot of times you complaining about that thing then becomes a inner pain. Like, emotionally, you begin to feel a certain way. Emotionally, you begin to spiral. Physically, the pain sets in. Have you ever complained about something and you continually begin to complain about the hardships, complaining about the pain, but then something inside of you kicks in, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna stop complaining about this and I'm gonna do something about it. Now, stoically, to have that stoic look, you're like, you know what? I'm done crying about it. I'm done talking about it. I'm going to commit to the course of the correction. I'm going to say that again. I like that too. I'm going to commit to the course of the correction, I should say. Because when you commit to the course of the correction, then it's going to take you in a new direction. And the direction that you're going based off the course correct, then it becomes beneficial because you're no longer allowing yourself to complain about the pain or the hardships, but now you become committed and dedicated to the journey. And then the long suffering kicks in. Because don't you feel you've been in pain long enough, or you have been enduring hardships long enough? That's when you start to fight back. That fight or flight kicks in. You be like, I'm tired of being in this corner. I don't have to be in this corner. I'm not going to allow you to keep pushing me in this corner or keep pushing me down. This situation, I'm greater than this situation. The lessons that I've learned coming out of this situation is going to make not just my tomorrow better, but it's going to make or allow me to foresee it in somebody else. Be like, you know what? The things that you're doing right now could possibly hurt you in the future. Why? Because I've been there. You're going to be able to foresee that in other people because you've already climbed out of the same hole and obstacle that they may have just tripped up and fell in. So long suffering for you could be beneficial to other people that you commune with, or beneficial to other people that you surround yourself with, because you have gone through the long suffering. You can speak life into you can speak life into another person's situation, but that person then takes and assumes the responsibility of what they're going to do with the newfound information that they've gained. But you may have been given the responsibility of saying it, or the responsibility of communicating about it. All right, that's enough. All right, so we're gonna jump into the deep dive about the power of long suffering. All right, let's go. So long suffering is a brick by brick process. And I say that because it is not something, you don't build a wall by throwing the bricks down, but you actually build the wall by ensuring that you have all of the tools that's needed and all of the products that's needed in order for the wall to be built. So long suffering is a brick by brick process. Do you have the tools that you're going to need, or do you have the material that you're going to need in order for you to endure the situations that you may have found yourself in? It's a brick by brick process. Like, you can put the brick down and then you add the mortar and then you add another brick, and now you can look at it and say, man, I just got like 80 more bricks to go before I build this house. But long suffering is the patience and the process of building. Like, life is long suffering. Journey is long suffering. Success is long suffering. Faith is long suffering. The marathon is long suffering, and the reward is on the other side of it. But are you willing to endure the pain? Like, can you weather the storm? Your mental stamina and endurance will allow you to become something extraordinary, but are you determined and disciplined enough to see it through? Like, long suffering can make you feel troubled. It really can. It can make you cry. It can make you want to curse. It can make you want to fight. It can make you want to quit. But can you push in order for you to see the outcome? Like, don't give up, because you will never know what's on the other side of the door. You will never know what's on the other side of that mountain. You will never know what's on the other side of that hump that you're dealing with right now. You will never know what's on the other side of the hill if you quit. Because that trial and that situation or that circumstance, it could be hard. Hell, it is hard. If you tell the truth about it, it is hard. But the power of long suffering is like long suffering is like no longer an everyday word like it was like when your grandmama was alive or whatever. But long suffering can also be a virtue. Like patience is a virtue. Long suffering could be a virtue, but it's needed more so now than ever before. Like, so what if your year didn't go as planned? But like, what are you going to do about it now? That's completely up to you. Like, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, you went to last year's vision board class and workshop, and you're about to go to probably another one this week. And everything that you put on this vision board, probably only two things came to pass. But now what? Now what? Practice patience would then align you with the perfect peace. Acknowledge the things that you want done and then work on that thing. Work on 1%. You just got 99 more. So work on 1%. Work on that one thing. Do that one thing. Acknowledge what that one thing is. Accomplish that one thing. And then from the experience of doing that one thing, gain that experience, and then you implement the path the path that you chose to accomplish that one thing. Use that energy, repurpose it, and then you then tackle the very next thing that you need to do. Then it's okay to be proud of yourself because, hey, you did it, right? You worked on it. You figured it out. You acknowledge that thing right there that needs to change, and then you begin to course correct. Don't go into something and don't acknowledge what you just came from. Because you might find yourself doing the same thing. But hey, I'm gonna leave it alone. But man, y'all be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow here at 7:30 at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. I definitely appreciate you for being here, just tapping into this digital space. I'm just a vessel doing what I'm supposed to do, pouring out. Those who receive it, receive it. Those who don't, it wasn't for you. And I can't wait for whoever it's for, because those who it's for know who it's for. They'll receive it out how they receive it. But I'll see you tomorrow here 7:30 at Consistency is Currency. Enjoy the rest of your day. Why? Because you deserve it. Y'all be blessed. Peace.